Hey, good morning, everybody. I'll tell you what, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and we are heading out for another trip. You know, a big thing is that we do a ton of traveling and we stay at a lot of places. So for me, having a travel cover obviously protects everything inside the boat is very important. And I can't think of a better travel cover than the Delco. Hey everybody, welcome back to our show. This week we are up in northern Wisconsin, of course, with our good friend, JVR. You know what, I'll tell you what, Jeff, it's kind of nice to be up here and you're down here and I'm a little bit taller than you for once.
Yeah, as it says, this is what it's like all the time. Being a tall guy, I don't really look up to people very often.
Right.
I see that.
Well, I'll tell you what, not everybody can be as tall as you or as good a fisherman as you, I can tell you that. Hey, dude, you are like the most consistent person. Honestly, I say this all the time, everybody. This guy is the most consistent guide that I have ever met in my whole life, and we're always proud to fish with you. But let's tell everybody at home really how our day is going to be planned out. It might not, we might have to vary it a little bit because we got some weather coming in and out. But let's tell everybody what we got planned for today.
So we're going to start off with some walleyes. They're kind of setting up on some of those early summer patterns, some of the emerging weeds and that. We're going to target some of that, see if we can get some walleyes, and then we'll switch up, do some crappies. Those are somewhat on this lake anyway. There'll be some fish on beds. There's a good number of fish that are probably already, or that are not probably, that are already done spawning.
Sure.
And there's still some fish that are looking to come up. They're kind of still cruising in pods in the shallow.
Okay.
So we'll be casting a brush.
Nice crappies too,
Yeah, decent sized crappies. Yeah,
Okay.
and we got a couple other spots to hit for that, a couple other lakes too, but we'll try to, piece it together. We'll see how the day goes. We're gonna start with walleyes, go from there, then switch it up for crappies. So let's see what we can pick up. And
awesome, dude. All right, man. Hey, everybody, hold on to your heinies. I got a feeling it's gonna be one of them VanRemortel days. Here we go, Jeff. I'll tell you what, third cast. Ooh, that's a good fish.
Well, he chomped that.
Yeah, he wanted that sucker. Nice little walleye. Back in. I'm running the twister tail with a 3/8 ounce jig. I've got a fluorocarbon leader on here, 10-pound test, and using super braid, another 10-pound test super braid, and basically just pitching it up there and letting it fall down that break. It's a super steep break, but I want to be able to, I'm using a heavier jig because I want it to be able to control that fall. Hey, I'll tell you what, Jeff, you kind of switched it up a little bit. I'm still whipping the plastics, but you went with the live bait, huh?
Oh, it is a smallie. I thought it was
a smallie.
I thought it was a giant rock bass. So yeah, we were switching up there. We got pounded right away on some plastics, but they were short striking a little bit aside from the one Larry caught. I mean, we've only made about maybe 5-10 casts more. Yeah. Switched up for a minnow just to try to run it through there. A little smallie.
Feels like a decent fish. A little better. There he is.
Oh yeah, nice walleye.
We'll give him the old flipperoni, the old northern Wisconsin. I was just eating a donut. That's what helped right there. Oh, whoa, little flipperoni. Good little eater. All right, on the board for Cheroni. Boy, you are on the variety today, my friend. From rock bass to smallmouth to perch.
Yeah, so the spot we're working here, we've got a lot of, the wind's been the same for a number of days here. And there's just a lot of fish stacked up on it. You got the variety, you got a little bit of everything. I mean, obviously nothing trophy, but a couple nice perch, small bass, walleye. I mean, we've been here maybe 5 minutes as well.
Let's touch on one thing, Jeff.
What's that?
I love to always ask you questions because I always get great answers. You know, let's talk about consistent winds on points and shorelines. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it'll draw fish in the area. To the spot, certainly if the wind stays there for a number of days. And at the very least, the fish that end up taking up residence there or staying active there or getting active there and stay, they don't often leave, I don't think. You'll mark a pot of walleyes and they're there until the wind is not. And then when the wind is gone, then they disperse to go elsewhere. A lot of times you can find them on an adjacent shore or somewhere close by, kind of an adjacent point.
Because like on Winnebago, of course, I grew up there as a kid fishing that lake, and you would think that consistent wind would hold them fish day after day, but on Winnebago, that is such a different body of water. And maybe because there's so much rock structure out there that this fish, like you could have the same wind, 3 days in a row, and you go there 2 days in a row and you just pound the walleyes, and the third day you're thinking this is just going to be no doubt lights out, guaranteed thing, and they're gone. It's not about actually going out and catching these fish and hooking them. It's about figuring out why they're there. Why are these fish in this spot today? And if they're not, where are they? It's to conquer.
Always new ground to conquer.
Right, you're always trying to conquer. Hey, I'll tell you what, I had that plastic. I lost my minnow in the last cast, and I had that plastic in my pocket, and I put it back on there, and that fish just absolutely rattled that. Another good eater. That's perfect. That's two good eaters for me now. Man, oh man, I'm glad I lost that minnow.
I'm going back to plastic.
Right, I'm glad I lost that minnow.
That's a decent fish.
Yeah.
Nice fish.
Man, they are just stacked up on that corner right there. I don't really think about these fisheries being as good as they are, but they are amazing. You know, the last 4 or 5 years we've been fishing with you up here, it is just amazing. All the different bodies of water. You got one? There you go.
Come on over, join you here.
Nice job. Let that one go.
I agree. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You don't always have to be fishing big water to catch lots of walleyes. And I've been with you enough times, Jeff. We've caught some big walleyes on some of these lakes. That's a really nice fish. Yeah, that's a nice fish. A lot of times, just bringing that bait across them fish a little bit differently, it really makes a big difference. I'll let you, got him? It's a nice fish. Hey, you know what I'm thinking?
Oh,
good thing you didn't let him JVR.
He looked like he was going to flip
Yeah,
off
why don't you
there.
hold that one up? You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
We've caught plenty of walleyes, and that's what I was saying when we opened the show up, that one thing I really do love about northern Wisconsin is that there's so many different opportunities here. And I know you've been on a phenomenal crappie bite.
Yeah.
What do you think about going in before this storm comes in?
Yeah,
She's
let's
looking
go and switch it up. We've been walleye fishing about an hour, caught plenty of fish,
Yep.
and let's see if we can get some crappies out of the way here, just in case we do get chased off from some storms.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Crappies.
do it. Yep.
Hang on, everybody. Hang on to your heinies.
Takes me back to when I was a kid, man. All week we've been hooking walleyes pretty much every lake we've gone to, up in the weeds mixed in with the panfish, especially since we haven't really seen the sun too much. It's been gray, and this little chunker.
I can't believe the amount of bait we've seen so far.
Dude, the minnows, everything's up here. They're definitely on that emerging weed early season program. They've been pretty mobile. Cast anything that looks like structure. Casting through the weeds, you can work the deep side too. And 5 minutes deep, about a dozen rock bass and a walleye, and our first crop.
Hey, I'll tell you what I like to use is I'm using the beaver tail here, and because it's so durable. So what I do is I'll take a piece out, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut it into so it looks like it's got little bitty tentacles coming off it. So I'm going to take a super sharp scissors like this. I'm going to hold it still and just cut about a quarter of the way up it. Okay, and just make at least 3 different slices.
Can't really see too much, so again, cast at anything that looks good. In these dreary days, especially if you got any wind, stick back, good looking fish.
That's the cool part too about this when you're fishing this clear water. Yeah, that was to see that crappie come right out. That's a nice fish right there. You gotta love that one right there. Got him on the old beaver tail, and again, you know, taking that beaver tail out of that package and basically cutting it up the way I cut it up, where it makes it look like little tentacles, makes a big difference. But that is cool. Sight fishing for crappies. Yeah, bunch of timber, just working our way down the shoreline here, working these pockets, and it's amazing all the other species too that we're catching and not showing you guys. Of course, we could show all the rock bass, but
well, we'll do a rock bass montage,
Right.
maybe. Yeah, man, that's like my favorite part of this kind of fishing.
yeah, you
You
never know.
know.
What you're gonna
Like
catch.
literally, we've had how many hook sets here? It's perch, crappie, bass, walleye. I mean,
Smorgasbord.
just like that. We've been out for not very long. So that one too, all deeper in the weeds. You know, these are some post spawn fish. They're all those minnows that we've been seeing cruising through here. You know, that fish is probably about 8-9 feet of water. Last year's weeds, still some milfoil there. Okay, hold on, he's right here. He's still trying to cough it up. He's right here. They're cruising this weed line. That is a giant. Got him that time. Oh, look at that. Oh.
Oh my God. Let's see that one. Dude, that is a magnum. That's a bucket mouth right there.
That's a big crop.
Oh man.
Well, I
Did
saw
it
him
feel
swimming. I
like-
thought it was another bass. There's a
Yeah.
pot of largemouth swimming. And then he came through there, and I saw him like, oh, big crop.
Oh,
I mean, that's
that is-
14
That's
for sure.
a giant.
That's a 14.
You know, and the cool part is to be able to
Easy.
see them fish come right after that bait.
They come up out of those deep weeds like that. You know, we're fishing last year's weeds. Like I said, these fish, I mean, this fish is post-spawn.
Yep.
And they're feeding. There's all, if you look at the film on the water here, there's a ton of bugs from the bug hatch
I
here.
can't believe the forge.
And we're seeing schools of bluegills. They're not ready to spawn yet. A lot of the crappies are done. We've seen a few fish on beds.
Yep.
But the best productivity we've had is easily on this outside weed edge. And they're coming by in schools of 2, 8, 10, 20 at a time.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Really cool. What a fish.
Let's let that one go, of course.
Absolutely. What do we got today?
I got a little Philly cheese snack sticks from Leroy's.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
And then it's getting to be that time of it's not lunchtime yet, but it's definitely getting to be chow time. Oh, That is so cool. To be able to see that walleye come right up and smoke that right out of the trees.
That was awesome.
That was cool.
Having a little snack stick?
A little snack. So was he.
And I'll tell you, so like when I'm doing this, what I'm watching for a lot, I think I'm starting to drive Larry nuts a little bit. Yeah. He's got his bobber off, he's working on it. But I always use white, and the reason I use white is because I can visually see that in most different kinds of water. Something that's stained, I'll use orange or something that they might feed on a little bit more heavily. But the white is more for me, as much for me as it is because it's a good color for the fish, but it's because I can see it in the distance.
Thanks to our friends at Power Sports, a happy wife is definitely a happy life.
Loving the craps. Oh, nice. Another one come right up out of that wood.
Yeah, man,
Just
that's
crush
cool.
it right off that bed.
But you feel that line twitch, you see the line jump like that, and yeah, that's pretty
And
neat.
like you said, I love that, using that white plastics like that.
And that one I couldn't even see. A lot of times you get it where it's kind of gray. We got the wind.
Yep.
The wind is actually ripping pretty good right now. We got.
So you're watching that line.
A lot of times, just like with your jigging, you'll feel it with a real sensitive rod. You'll feel it too, or you just kind of. It's like when you go to jig it a little bit, like you're almost kind of testing to see if there's one on there too. And it's because the thing when you drop it too, you don't want it just to be a stone fall.
Right.
You almost want to like work that line a little bit because it makes the jig go like this on the way down, and that way it's not just a straight fall. Like the longer you can keep it in the strike zone, the better. So
it's amazing how they love to lay in that milfoil, huh?
They have so much cover there,
Right.
They get in there, and those guys can go down. We're in 7-8 feet of water, and the milfoil comes down near to the top. It's last year's weeds, but it's a lot of cover for them. And again, all these pods of minnows that we've had coming through. It's just bigger than the boat, big pods of just tight to tight.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then you got all the bug hatch stuff on the water. These fish are full. They're in here recovering from the spawn and just fattening up.
It's just fish after fish after fish today. You know what I love more than anything? Right here, I'm going to show you. Watch this. That is what I love right there. Tell you, it is crappie after crappie after crappie after crappie. And that is another nice fish right there.
Ooh. Shoulders on that puppy.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, Jeff. It is amazing when you think about, I know there's a lot to timing. So what goes on with these crappies the rest of the summer?
So what they'll do now is we're finding some fish up shallow, we're finding some fish. Most of these fish we've caught are all either post-spawn or a few of them have been males certainly in beds.
Right.
We're working through those areas. Whether we've seen a few that we've been able to present to, but a lot of these fish have been in the area or we're casting to likely spots with wood in that. And that's where the vast majority of our fish. In fact, some of our best fishing was out over those weeds. Spawn is a very, very stressful thing.
Right.
After that, there's that little bit of a lag period, and then they turn on the feed bag, and that's where a lot of these fish are kind of at that point now. The ones that aren't up shallow on structure holding, they're moving out to that. They're starting to patrol. We see all those minnows, all those bugs. There's more bug hatches to come, so they like to be near those soft transitions in bays where the bug hatches are going to occur, as well as the emerging weeds that are holding a lot of the minnows.
Oh my. Oh me, oh my.
Wow,
that is a crappie that will blow your eye. That is a
We've been
giant,
catching a lot of fish. Things are getting squirrely. Yeah,
Right.
that's a big one.
How old would a crappie like that be?
It depends. They've done some studies and stuff, and they found that these fish are probably quite a bit older than most people would think.
Like, what do you think?
12 years or 12 inches seems to be kind of the cutoff in the studies that I've looked at.
Yeah.
As far as when these fish, they kind of rush right up to that 11, 12 inch mark, and then after that, it's kind of like a muskie where they'll get big pretty quick, and then they very slow incremental growth thereafter. So this could be, this fish is probably about 14, real close to, if not, maybe a hair over.
Yeah.
It's a very good chance that's a 10, 12 plus year old fish, if not more, and maybe a lot more.
There's not a lot of times, at least for me, to have the opportunity to be able to fish crappies where you can actually sight fish them and see them slurping that bait.
It's really a neat thing, man. It's one of those deals where, some of it, like I said, coincides with some of the bedding in that, but dude, when you find them in those deep weeds like that and you can kind of see them sunning themselves, or you just kind of blind cast, which is, again, what most of our fish came today.
Right.
Certainly, we got really gusty winds. We kind of are in between gusts and in a somewhat protected area here, but it's really something that I almost never see anybody fishing like this. I'm not saying nobody's ever caught a crappie on a piece of plastic, but like this way, there's always a bobber involved, and it takes an act. I mean, today, like,
I'll tell you what, after a while, I got sick of you catching them, and I took my bobber off.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just one of those ones where you just, and you're like, how do you see them? I'm like, I'm not. They're there, and you're working through, and it's just.
And then all of a sudden you get to see them come out and grab it.
And then, like I said, then you do get the ones where I can see it disappear, the ones where you get a little, in the tree line, or the glare's removed, and you're able to see them eat it like that. It's just the best, man. It's one of the things I look forward to every year. It's like the kickoff of summer for me.
Built for fishermen, built by fishermen. Really, that says it all.
It's the family here. It's not a big conglomerate. It's a family.
They treat you feel like you're in a family,
When you put those two together, an amazing product and amazing people, it's just the type of company you want to be involved with.
Not only because of just the great boats, but because of the camaraderie that the Warrior family has.
The customer service is amazing. They never leave you hanging.
So come join the Warrior family.
Nice. It's early in the day, and we decided to do a little bit more walleye fishing. Oh, that's a nice fish right there, my friend. That is nothing wrong with that fish at all. Boy, these fish are definitely spunky. I didn't really think you could catch these fish on these bodies of water right in the middle of the daytime.
These fish are holding on some deeper weeds, and this is where we came this morning. We went out, we knew there's a pot of fish here.
Yep.
The wind kicked up really nice, especially this time of year when you got a really heavy wind. You can get into them if they're still in the same area.
Yeah.
We talked about, we caught enough crappies. We had some nice walleyes this morning, but we left pretty quick to go for the crappie game. I was like, we know where they are. Let's not get cute with it.
Let's give it a shot before we go in.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret though. I had one thing in my back pocket on this.
What's that?
It's moon phase.
Moon phase.
Yeah, it's also middle of moon.
Right.
I was like, I think we can get a couple midday. It's peak
You
moon
are
right now.
definitely a wise moon phase guy. Hey everybody, this week's tip of the week brought to you by our good friends up at Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. Hey JVR, I'll tell you what, you have always got some great tips, and I'll tell you, we were gonna go in, but you said let's go check out a walleye spot, and you're just hammering them back there.
Yeah, it was 6 casts I missed them, and he got my plastic. Tip of the week for this is a lot of people don't use round ball jigs for walleyes. It's one of the things I've actually used for many years. It's actually about all I use a lot of times, unless I need something specific, like something for, something that's, the slender shaped jigs for getting through weed cover or something like that. But overall, I prefer to use the round ball jigs.
Why is that?
The reason why is because I also like to add a piece of plastic.
Okay.
I'll often add a piece of, this is a part of a Berkeley trout worm.
Okay.
It just come in a big long ribbon there, a big long package like this. It adds some flavor, it adds some scent, it adds some color. It makes for a profile, which that way when you're hooking your bait, it stays on, go in through the mouth, out through the middle of the eyes, and it stays on like so. That way you don't have just a bare minnow rolling around on the jig hook.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that. Can't argue with success.
That's right.
Hey, again, speaking about success, Mike's Country Meats, the finest jerky on the planet. It's a smackdown on me. He's putting a smackdown. I'm too stubborn to go with the round head and the plastics. What you got there, JVR?
A real nice walleye.
Woo! Hooked up.
Hooked up, double baby.
Finally got it down. Oh yeah, Freddie, Betty, and double head. Whoa! Smackaroni. Look how pretty these fish are too.
That's a dandy, dude. That is why you always cook your fish all the way.
No doubt.
Yeah,
a tapeworm.
That's a tapeworm.
Huh. See, I always thought it had something to do with after they got done spawning and it just stayed with them.
It might be something to that, but it looks like a tapeworm. Look and see if it's segmented. Look real close at it. I wouldn't pull it because you could pull out their intestines.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Ooh.
Yeah. Electronics, timing, good weather.
Life is
paid
damn
off.
good.
Yep. Very nice. Good fish.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Jeff. Let's tell everybody, because they're definitely going to want to spend some time with you and come out and enjoy this great fishing in northern Wisconsin. Let's tell them how they can do it.
You can reach me on my cell phone at 920-639-6286. You You can reach me on my website, Wisconsin Muskie with a Y, fishingguide.com. The name of my business is WDH Guide Service. You can find me on social media, Instagram.
Hey everybody, we really appreciate you watching our show each and every week. Make sure that you guys check out our podcast, We Eat Fish Eat, every Tuesday. Right down below is how you can check it out. And don't forget that we are still living in the greatest country in the world as of today. And we want to give special thanks out to all of our law enforcement agents and all of our men and women that serve in the military, past and present. And no doubt, absolutely no doubt, it's a great day to be alive. And thank you, and we'll see you next week. Hey everybody, today for our Leroy lunchtime, we are gonna have the new chicken brat. And you know, the great part, again, I say this all the time, is that it's pretty cool when you think about Leroy's has over 60 different flavors of brats. And you can check them out at Fox Lake or at Horicon. You know what? Again, check out Leroy Meats. Jeff's got the grill going. We're gonna throw these on. I'm gonna clean some fish, and guess what? It's gonna be time for us to head home with a nice full belly. We kept 10 crappies today. Now you think about, look how much meat we got off of 10 crappies. That's enough for at least 2 or 3 people to have a great fish fry right there. Look at that. Nothing better than some good food and an awesome day of fishing. Wow. I'm the messiest eater, I'll tell you.
There wasn't even any sauce on there. What did you get on there?
Gotta love that right there. Whoa! Gar. Oh.
Careful.
Stay here. Where are you going? Where? Wow.
Nice crop. Oop. Quick release. Off the knee.
The knee release?
The old knee release technique. Have I showed you that trick?